Before starting this video, I want to mention some of these options that I've went through for building graphical user interfaces. So the conclusion that I have come to is that either build in Python or build as a web application. So I found that building user interfaces in Python is not quite as customizable as I thought. So the web-based applications with Python as backend and something like React as frontend should provide the most customization. Now, I have made two demo applications, one of them being in DearPyGUI and another one being in React frontend, Python backend. So, due to the issues of customization in DearPyGUI, I created the demo app for React. I'm hoping that this demo app can be extended to include other UI functionalities to serve as local AI-powered software. There is also Electron to package it as a standalone application once the web application is built. I have learned that VS Code is built with Electron, and I found that the performance is quite good for it. So in this video, I want to cover the building of the DearPyGUI chat application. So I have used llama.cpp as backend server, and I'm getting the data in OpenAI format, API format. So it is the API endpoint v1 chat completions. I have run the server just how it is run normally. So this is the command for running the application. If I run this, the server will run and I will be able to send requests to it and get responses back from it. So the data format is in the format of OpenAI with system role and user role with their respective instructions. And here I set how many tokens I want, and if I want to get a streaming response, like for example from like ChatGPT. Here I have, instead of using the OpenAI API, Python API, I have used asynchronous library, AIO-HTTP, to get streaming response from the server, local server. I'm getting each chunk of data from the server, and I'm taking the message data and showing it in the UI. Now, if I go to the application, I have written the whole chat application as a class, and if I come from the top, the first thing I had to do was that there was an issue with font scaling in Windows for high resolution screens, so it would look blurry in Windows. So I had to set DPI awareness, and another part was that default font from GUI was not that high quality, so I used a font Roboto from Google. So if I come from the top, one of the issues is that I want to use this app as a full screen app. So after I launch the app, I immediately maximize the app window. Then I get the inner width of the application to draw my inside windows. So initially I set the values, but I don't define the exact values. After, based on the screen size, it has gone full screen. Then I calculate the amount of space inside the window, app window. And based on that, I calculate the exact values of sidebar, chat window, the bottom text input bar, etc. So as I get the response, I automatically add a scrolling option, so that as the text input comes, it automatically scrolls down. But one of the issues I have faced is that it does not keep scrolling down as text is coming. So it needs custom implementation. This is one of the challenge. And another challenge was that I had to implement a line breaking code for add input text widget. I'll go there, but first this is the API and payload for making this request. So if I get a stop message from the chatbot, then I break away from the session. And as I get a chunk of data from the server, streaming data, I add it to a message queue, this one. So what I have done is that after I set up the app, I call run. Then when I run the app, I first set up the context and maximize the viewport. I have also set a callback to get the inner window size after getting full screen to properly position all the child windows. Then what I have done is that I have run an async task continuously, checking if there is some message in the message queue. If there is some message in the message queue, then I update the GUI to reflect the changes, and I add some delay to reduce workload. And I have added also another delay in the main GUI drawing code so that the UI update is not very frequent, just some slight delay. So whenever I get a message in the message queue from the streaming response, I update the GUI, and this task runs continuously. And this is the code for getting the inner width and height after getting the window to full screen. And I have added a function for building the UI and add thinning to it. So for example, if I run the app, this is one of the issue that it will only scroll after it has finished giving the responses. So now if I go and change this value and rerun the application, the theme color of this section has changed. So I have found DearPyGUI to be not very hard, but in terms of customization, I have found it limited for especially for chatbot applications. But for normal AI-powered some non-chatbot applications, I think it is a good choice. Now I want to show the update GUI code. So if there is some message in the message queue, I get that message and I add that message to the widget in the UI to show it. I take the previous message and append the new chunk of data to it. Like, for example, a new word has come in the new message variable. I add it to the previous text. And I had to create a custom line breaking code. So this is the wrap text function that I had to create. If I go there, all it does is that it breaks the lines of the UI based on that defined width. For example, if I just comment out this line and use it without the wrap function, as it can be seen here, that it does not actually properly introduce line break. This has exceeded the limit of the UI. I have set a custom width for each of the message widgets. So now if I use the wrap text, it will automatically break based on the amount of width that I have set. And I think this is it for the DearPyGUI application. I could show it without for example, some issues that I have faced. So one of the issues I have faced is that this part is a add text widget and I cannot select it with mouse. I could not find a way to make it selectable. So I had to use another type of widget, but if I have already made it read only, so I cannot edit it, but the cursor keeps staying there if I click on it. And so I have to click away to move that. So I have found that this is quite useful for, this should be quite useful for most AI-based applications, lightweight applications. But the amount of customization that web app can provide, I don't think this can provide that. At least it will require a lot more work than web applications where there is a lot of resources available. So as I mentioned, that the biggest issue I faced is that there is almost no resources for DearPyGUI. Based on my experience building this application, I think if the customization was a little bit easier, I think this is a better choice for me. But I have opted to use go the web application route where I have built the front end in React, and the backend currently is the llama.cpp server. But I want to introduce another backend that will be the Python backend. It will have fast API based API endpoints performing various different AI workloads. So I'm not sure how much customization I'll be able to do. Hopefully I'll be able to share if the experience is easier than building in DearPyGUI. Now, if I go to that application, so I have already launched the application. Now, if I type something, this is also a streaming chatbot, and the logic for showing the data is actually in JavaScript, where instead in the DearPyGUI, I use the streaming code in Python. As it can be seen here, that this is doing streaming response. Here I have also not implemented scrolling code, and so what I have used for building this is I have used something called White to get a template for React application, and I have modified that to build my basic demo chatbot. So I hope to modify this further to add other AI applications to it. And if I want to package it, I could go Electron instead of loading it in browser. So if you know other better ways to build local AI powered applications, let me know in the comment section.